ANN News Kids. This week on the headlines we have Donald Trump running for 2024 election, the Russia-Ukraine war and the missiles in Poland, the world population crossing the 8 billion mark. The Crazy for Culture segment is all about William Shakespeare, his words and his work, and the Persona segment is about William Shakespeare himself. In the Hungry for History segment, I'm going to be talking about some fun facts about the Greeks. This week on the sub-headlines, we have Twitter changes and what's happening next in Twitter, as well as Iran protests and deaths happening there, the North Korean missiles that are firing all over the place, and the snowstorm in Buffalo, New York. This week we are interviewing Mr. Ziad Pierbox, an amazing person who's an educator and who's a slam artist. I really hope you enjoy his journey and what he has to say. Please like, subscribe and share and comment below to ANN News Kids because it would really help us. Thank you. Former President Donald Trump announced on Tuesday that he is going to be running as the Republican presidential nominee for 2024 US election. Despite all the criticism that he got during his first term about how he handled COVID, as well as after losing the election, the Capitol riots, he said that he's going to make sure America knows all the good things he did while he was in office. Therefore, he's continuously comparing all his achievements to Joe Biden's. Joe Biden, the current president of the US, has been having a hard time in the office, not only because of the war in Ukraine, but also because of the possible economic recession. He's also getting older now, and some say that he's getting criticism for that. Donald Trump falsely continues to insist that the election in 2020 was stolen from him, which is why he's pressuring some Republican leaders to change some voting laws to make it easier for him. Poland said that a missile was launched by Russia into the Polish territory, killing 2 people. This was a deadly missile attack, but there was no additional information saying where it was fired from and who fired it. Joe Biden, the president of USA, said that it's very unlikely that the Polish missile was actually fired in eastern Poland if it was fired from Russia. He said this after consulting with the G20 during the G20 summit in Indonesia. But NATO said that they will have to call an emergency meeting because of this, because Poland is a NATO territory, and by NATO rules, if one country NATO is invaded or goes into war, everyone has to go into war. But it doesn't look like anything is going to happen or that it'll be a full-fledged war yet, although this is bringing a lot of uncertainty onto Russia-Ukraine war and how it's going to end, because it doesn't look like it's going to end very soon. The UN announced that the world population just reached 8 billion, and this is a huge milestone. It reached 7 billion people 11 years ago. Despite this, the world's population is growing at its slowest rate since 1950. Did you know that in 2020 it fell to just 1%? The UN once predicted, in 1999, they once predicted that the world population is going to reach 8 billion in 2028, but it came faster. Now, they're predicting that it will reach 9 billion in 15 years. Despite that, it seems like the population is going to decrease from now until 2100 according to UN projections. Did you know that 2 millennia ago the world population was just 300 million? And half of our population right now, which is 8 billion, so half was 4 billion, was reached in 1974. Hi everybody, this week we're talking about someone that everyone knows in the Persona segment, William Shakespeare. I hope you enjoy. William Shakespeare was born in 1564. We don't know much about his early life, but we know that around the age of 30, after his marriage, he joined a company called Lord Chamberlain's Men. Lord Chamberlain's Men was an acting company, and he contributed immensely to it because he wrote some great plays that led it to become one of the most popular acting companies in London. Some of his earlier works include Midsummer's Night Dream and Romeo and Juliet, ones that we know today. Unfortunately, Lord Chamberlain's Men lost their theatre, but that led them to build the Great Globe Theatre. Globe Theatre was an amazing thing because it attracted so many people and it had 3,000 seats. William Shakespeare wrote some later plays which were performed in that theatre, which, for example, Othello and Hamlet. He is known even today and he's created some of the words that we use daily as well. He is known to be one of the best literature writers in history, and his work is the second most quoted in the world after the Bible. I really hope you enjoyed. Hi everybody, this week for the Hungry for History segment, I'm going to be telling you some amazing facts about the Greeks. I really hope you have fun and laugh. Did you know that the Greeks often ate dinner while lying on their sides? They invented the yo-yo, which is considered the second oldest toy after the doll. About 1/3 of their city was slaves. There were many city-states in Greece, and not just Sparta and Athens. There were about 100 city-states. The Romans copied a lot of the Greeks, including their gods, architecture, how they ate, and many other things. When law trials were held in Athens, they used juries of 500 citizens. Thersites was a Greek hero who ran 150 miles to Marathon, a place to help with the war. And after the Greek won the war, he ran back to Athens for 25 miles. That is how the word marathon got its name. This week for the Crazy Culture segment, I'm going to be talking about something really fun. I really hope you enjoy. What do all of the words eyeball, fashionable, gossip, unreal, bedroom, and champion have in common? They were all invented by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare had many ways that his work and words spread around the world. Because of the invention of the printing press, it was very easy to do so. But not only that, he based his work and stories in different places around the world. Like the book The Merchant of Venice is based in Italy and not England. Another reason is that he got a lot of support from famous people and monarchs. One of the people who loved his work was Queen Elizabeth I. She loved watching his plays. Many of his books are still relevant today, and some of the themes can still be related to. And of course, his work itself was amazing and captured the readers and audiences. Hello, this week on the Spiritual Career segment, we are interviewing Mrs. Yal Pirbaks, who is an educator and a slam artist from Mauritius. I really hope you enjoy what he has to say because his journey and advice is amazing. Thank you.
So, if you had to describe yourself in a few sentences, how would you do that?
I'm 40 years of age. I'm Aquarius, and I love poetry, and I love my country, and obviously I love my family and my job, which is education. Big, so much passionate about my job.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing. So you said that you love your job. So what exactly do you do?
So I was employed as a teacher. Then it changed. It got to educator, which is a little bit more deep in terms of the profession. And I also do coaching. I started 10 years ago. I started using poetry in my classes so that I get young people and learners engaged in what they want to describe or perceive or demonstrate or argue. So I'm a big believer that poetry can still play a major role in our educational system. And I'm also a friend of other generations, so that's very nice. So I rely on the youth of on their energy to be able to teach better.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a nice philosophy. But how did you become an educator from a teacher, and how did you get interested in poetry? Just a bit about your journey so far.
I wanted to become a lawyer, so I did my first year. And when I finished my first year, I understood that if you want to fix the system, you need to know more than law. So you need to be able to have an effect on the educational system. Mm-hmm. So I started teaching. My specialty, it's languages, philosophy, politics, and I'm a modern languages teacher. So I teach French and Spanish. I can also teach a bit of Shakespeare as well because I love that.
Wow.
And sorry. And in London there is that park called Hyde Park, and in Hyde Park there is a place called the Speaker's Corner. You stand on a box or a wooden box and you talk to the public. So when I was at university, I joined the Poet Society because I started writing when I was very young in my teenage years. And at first, when I started speaking, no one would listen. So I was a little bit sad. So every week I went and tried my best. So little by little, I got people who would stand and listen to my poetry.
Wow.
And obviously, I said to myself, if I want to become a teacher, I need to become a teacher who uses poetry to teach, I don't know, ecology, to teach grammar, to teach, and especially with French grammar, it's a little bit of gymnastics you have to do.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And I started from there. And when I finished my studies, I've worked also with the we call it the boroughs of London. So we don't have municipalities, we have boroughs. So I work with the boroughs with they call them antisocial young people. So I work with antisocial young people, and it was a fantastic adventure. I loved it, and I've made friends. We're still in touch with those
That's
young
nice,
people. Yeah. In 2006, I I joined Le Bocage, and then after 1 year, I really wanted to teach in public schools. I went on a journey to teach in public schools. I spent I spent 9 years out there in public school, and I've done also 1 year in a confessional school, Catholic school. Fantastic journey, amazing kids, amazing learners, amazing colleagues, lots of talents.
That's really amazing. And that brings us on to the last question. What is your advice to kids?
What I would tell to the young people, not to do the same mistakes as their adults. Challenge those mistakes. If you have someone in the family not paying attention to what's happening to ecology, challenge them. And how do you challenge? You don't kick. You don't become violent, but you use positive tools. And one of the best positive tools, it's poetry. I'm into slam poetry, and when you slam the problems out, you get solutions. So do poetry, because whatever the language you learn poetry, you will learn more words, and if you possess more words, you have more vocabulary. Can vocabulary change the world? Definitely. If you have the tools to speak, the tools to write, or the tools to sing or to rap or to slam it out, then it will have an effect.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your time today. It was really nice talking to you and listening to your journey and a bit about what you do. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that young
That was
people actually
amazing.
take time to listen to a 40-year-old teacher. So fantastic. Great job.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Hope
You too. Have a nice evening. Greetings to your family.
Yeah, you
Bye.
too.
Japan's defense minister that said that North Korea launched another intercontinental ballistic missile, and this one is a long-range missile, meaning it has a capacity to reach very far. This one has a capacity to reach anywhere on the US mainland, which makes it very difficult for the US. It's also difficult because it's carrying nuclear warheads, and experts say that North Korea is also starting to develop a new missile, which is more powerful than the intercontinental ballistic missile and will be able to carry more nuclear weapons on it. It'll be very hard to defend against. North Korea has fired over 50 missiles in just 2 months, and no one knows what they're really doing and what their plan is with all of these missile attacks. Twitter told all its employees that all the office buildings will be temporarily closed. They did not give a reason for this, but they said that they will all open on Monday, November 21st. There are lots of signs saying that Twitter's employees have been leaving with a huge resignation very recently because they haven't accepted Mr. Elon Musk's, the new CEO of Twitter's, new terms. Mr. Elon Musk said last week that all the Twitter employees will have to work longer hours and be extremely hardcore, or else they would have to leave. Many signed up for these new pledges on Thursday, but the others were given 3 months severance pay and asked to leave. No one knows what Twitter is going to do because it seems like they're having a hard time and their future is uncertain. Many advertisers are also leaving, and advertising is Twitter's main source of income. Four people have been sentenced to death in Iran who have connections with the protests against the government. They've all been charged of enmity against God and for different reasons. One of them was charged of hitting a policeman and killing them with his car. Another one was arrested because he was in possession of a knife and a gun. A third one was arrested because he was blocking traffic and causing terror. And the fourth, he was charged with knife attack. All four of these people seem to be big protesters in the recent protests against the government that started 3 months ago. These are women-led protests, and it started when a woman who refused to wear hijab was killed in prison when she was arrested. It doesn't seem like it's going to end very soon, and many people have died, and around 16,000 have already been arrested. There's a snowstorm in Buffalo, New York that is very terrible. There's already been a level of 50 inches of snow there, which is really high, and 2 people have died of cardiac events after shoveling snow. Many people, around 6 million people from Wisconsin to New York, have been urged to stay at home and not go on the roads because they are wet and slippery, and it only looks like the storm is going to get worse and spread to other cities. This is a consequence of climate change, and recently we've been seeing that there's a lot of consequences, especially in this month. Now, we also saw a consequence of this, which was called thunder snow in Buffalo. Thunder snow was when there was a thunderstorm and a snowstorm at the same time, and it's a very rare phenomenon.